From the research I'm doing and the comments I'm seeing across different social media platforms, it is blatantly obvious to me that there is a glaring inconsistency with the help that veterans are getting against what we're told is the help that veterans are getting. The two don't quite marry up. And there are various circumstances by which veterans, some with a great number of years of service, are making comments to the fact that they've been left by the wayside. They're not helped. They need assistance, and they're simply either not getting it or they're not getting it in a timely fashion. Both of which, after everything that they've been asked to do for their country, is completely and utterly disgusting. And the conversation is not there. The conversation is not being had. It's very quiet, as if it's swept under the rug, like a crisp packet you don't want mum to find when she's doing the housework. It's very, very telling. Now, what I want to do is encourage these conversations. I want to encourage people to come out and say, well, hang on a minute. I'm owed a war pension and I'm still fighting after 10 years, or the Armed Forces Compensation Scheme owes me, blah, 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 20 years after the fact, those sorts of things. Obviously, I've just picked figures out of the thin air, just for illustration purposes. And there needs to be a certain amount of resilience. Now, when you're pushed and when you're pushed and when you're pushed, that resilience can fade, that resilience can fall by the wayside, and sometimes with catastrophic consequences. Now, I want to go through some of the comments which I received from you guys on the video I did yesterday on this. But talking of resilience, I want to first of all mention a fellow veteran, a friend of mine, no less, Russ, who runs the YouTube channel Absolutely Average. He's a veteran. He served in the army, went to places, including Bosnia, and he has his own mental health problems, his own issues, his own demons. He calls them the black dog. And that's a very, very good way of putting it. And that black wants to visit him every now and again, and he shuts everything out. But where I admire the guy's resilience is he came on YouTube, and one thing has led to another, and there are parties that are trying to completely and utterly destroy him. And he has put up with this for a year, a whole year. And he's finally got to the point where one of these people has said just one thing too many. And he said, enough, I'm not putting up with this anymore. Now, anybody with lesser mental fortitude would have crumbled a long time ago. And, you don't know what could have happened, but not Russ. That is a true story of resilience. Now, Russ did a live last night, and I encourage everybody to go and watch it. Why have I got a lawyer? I'll put a link in the description to his live for easy access. And he basically goes through and explains the entire situation that he's been involved in from beginning to end. And he is now taking legal action against these individuals. Trouble is with legal action, it's quite expensive. What Russ has actually done, he's set up a GoFundMe. And this is it here. And I'll put the link to it there as well. And this GoFundMe has only been running a couple of days, and he's managed to raise, well, 1,545 quid, time of recording. And this again tells you the whole entire story as to what Russ has had to put up with. Now, when you read that and when you understand that, what Russ has had to endure, that is true resilience. And you could take a lot from his example. As far as his actual situation goes, I would appreciate if people could go and share that link, at least read the story and understand. And if you can do anything to help him, it would be greatly appreciated. Russ is a friend of mine. he's a good man, and I hope that he gets the justice he's after. Anyway, let's have a look at the comments from the video that I did yesterday on the whole situation with regard to the armed forces and what's going on. So here we are. First comment, Leeds United John. Maybe fewer people would suffer mental illness if the authorities didn't send threatening letters and bailiffs to their doors when they can't pay their bills. Absolutely. I mean, I'm looking after a friend of mine at the moment who, has mental health issues and that sort of thing. And it's a great deal of pressure. And people just go, ooh, and let them in. It's like pick on the vulnerable. It really is not a great situation at all. Now, if you look at the live stream I did on Sunday with a chap called Peter Wilson, we talked a little bit about debt and in particular council tax and some of the things you could possibly do about it. KK352, the insidious development of the third sector charities to deliberate and creating yet another voluntary taxation for those who are willing to pay. The civil service government have washed their hands of all responsibility to the public they are supposed to serve and created charities to fleece the willing in the name of charity to help those in need on all fronts. What are the administration costs for the armed forces charities? How much reach the supposed beneficiaries of these charities? Absolutely spot on. One of the things that concerns me, and I do believe that government does try and wash their hands of all this, one of the things that does concern me is the amount of money and the amount of assets that these charities hold in their bank accounts and in property as well. Keyboard 4023, a valuable video, Andy. I hope that a lot of people respond. Me too. Maria, Jesus forgives all. I hope you're right. I suppose everybody has their own beliefs, don't they? Graham Heath, sounds all too familiar. The light in the tunnel is all too often a train coming in the other direction. Well, it's up to you to dodge out the way, isn't it? And keep heading to the end of the tunnel. I use that, analogy because it's the way I saw it at the time. And it was like a little thing I could just hold on to, Nick Butler, the disdain and contempt the government shows our vets is appalling. Why would anyone want to join up now, seeing their possible future? Absolutely. Crap pay, crap situation, asked to do God knows what, God knows where, and for God knows whom. And, the generation of kids we've got today, I don't think they could do it. Koala meat, I served 15 years, fought the system, and lost time after time. Now I want nothing from these liars and thieves. The army taught me to survive, and I want zero help, doing it my way. The vet help service is rubbish, and the government don't care. It's the same as it always was. Now you're out, you're on your own. Good luck, lads. It's rough as fuck out here, but we do it because many of us don't fit into normal society after service. Perfect example of a comment right there. Some are lucky they have jobs to go to. My old man, typical example, joined the police. Wasn't always plain sailing, but that's going into an area I won't go into because I don't have his permission. But there are others who are just chucked out there. And where'd you go? Where'd you turn? Thank you for your comment and your service. Margaret, just to cheer everyone up, the anti-ULEZ Blade Runners, oh yeah, I've seen this, have installed bat boxes on all the posts that we use for the cameras. Therefore, nobody, even Khan, can interfere with these as it's against the law. Game, set and match, I think. You're right, Andy. Things can change with some help, always. And I think the important thing is if you believe there's no help, it can be in places sometimes you'd least expect it. Paul Howe, been there. Sounds familiar. That's another comment from Margaret. Fuck you, Les. The mental health game is a con, in my opinion. Most people don't give a shit and they're happy that you have problems and that they don't. When I sought out help, there was a plethora of people lining up to take advantage of my situation, which sent me further into depression. I came to the realization that depression is a symptom of living in a messed up world. And I personally need to make changes to be able to cope better with problematic people. Diet and exercise are major help for me, and also cutting out any negative activities such as alcohol. It's difficult to see you're in its grasp, but it does get better. Absolutely. You're totally right. It does get better. You know, alcohol, you turn to alcohol. I mean, I was drinking sometimes at my height a bottle of whiskey a day. I know some people drunk a lot more. And on a Friday night, when I knew I didn't have to get up for work the next day, it was a lot more than that. And your problems would go away for a time. You would forget. You'd almost forgive. And then you wake up the next day with the headache from hell, granted, but it all comes flooding back again. And those four walls were like, now what? And it's like the repeating cycle again and again and again. Now, some people surrender to it and they're like that forever. You know, when hope is gone, that's it. But others do see certain subtleties and are able to make certain changes, like you say, to your diet, your exercise, that kind of thing. I'm not qualified at all in any of this. Those that claim they are and give people shit advice should hold their heads in shame. The only qualification I have is I've been there and I know how to get out of it. And, you know, other people can too. It's tragic how many people get set by the wayside, and purely as a result of, you know, other people around them, and also the help they don't get, which they should. Maggie Fidel, what the WEF say we need to get rid of the useless eaters, the old people, the disabled people, and people with mental health. That's what I got from it. Yeah, depopulation, they call that, wasn't it? Liam Strange, yes, I'm that very position trying to reach the light. Well, you keep going and you'll find it, I swear. Shield Wall, yep, been there, mate. Many people have. Couple of more comments. Kevin Barry, the government are too busy looking after everything apart from their very own. Yeah, the amount of money they're throwing everywhere as well. Well, we'll do two more comments. Christopher, hello, not a lot of help, I know, but a big thank you to all our serving and ex-servicemen and women. That comment is probably more help than you know, would appreciate. It's appreciation, acknowledgement. Arthur Davis, I served 1967 till 91. Wow. And all the things that happened during that time, I am not going to mention. When I left, it took months to realize that was it. I was walking corner to corner in the living room for months. I eventually, with friends and relations, broke out of it. A success story. You know, 77, 87, what's that, 24, 25 years? That's pretty much a big portion of your life, isn't it? All you ever knew. And one day it was over. Now what? You know, that's what that comment came across to me very much. Now what? And as you said in your own words, you got there, you got out of it, and you got to the end. Well, thank you very much, everybody. As I said, if you can show your support for Russ, a fellow veteran, I would appreciate it very much. Certainly gone through the ringer this year. You know, some of the things we've spoken about in the background, I couldn't possibly say, but he, you know, if you could appreciate, you know, he does need the help, that'd be great. And also your comments, very insightful as always. And you know, some of you are still there. Some of you have got out, and some of you blame a system that just doesn't work right for anybody anymore. Thank you. Hit the like button if you can. Appreciate that. That helps the YouTube algorithm spread everything around. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Andy the Cabby. And as always, share the hell out of my stuff. If you want to see another one of my videos, there's one should have just popped up here about now. And as always, I look forward to talking to you again soon. Toodaloo.